Hey guys, how's it going? Just out here getting some sunshine. It's a beautiful fall day in the Northwest. I try to get sunshine whenever possible. It's so good for your physical and mental health. So even if it's cold where you are, I advise you to still get some sunshine because you will benefit in so many ways. I want to show you a little bit of what I'm surrounded by right now. Very blessed to have this so close to my house and to be surrounded by so much beauty in the Northwest. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is the process of law of attraction a little bit, and how when you visualize, the seed has already been planted despite your kind of ups and downs with your moods and day-to-day thoughts and all that. So when you first visualize, you will probably, if you do it right and really feel the feeling of having what you desire, you'll probably feel high on life, on top of the world, and that what you're desiring is already with you. And as we go throughout our day-to-day, different circumstances happen, new stimuli comes into our experience, and often we'll fall back on old thinking patterns, and this is totally normal. It takes a little bit of time to change your thinking patterns, and your neural circuits are hardwired to think a certain way. So once you're changing it, it kind of takes a little adjustment period. And this is totally normal, but you may think that what you visualized was in vain once you feel like, oh, my old behavior's coming back. It's not the case. And you'll usually realize that when you're in a good mood, say you visualize one day and then 2 days you're kind of low on energy, like don't really feel like any residue of that feeling of the visualization. But say a week goes by and you get into a state of flow and you realize that everything is on its way and that everything feels right in life, and you realize that this visualization created a snowball effect, and that it wasn't in vain. The seed has been planted, and this often comes in a state of flow. And a state of flow is when everything feels in harmony and you feel joy. And this can happen with your favorite sport. It can happen with your best friend when you're doing fun activities. It could happen with a project that you're working on that brings you a lot of joy. And once you're in this state of flow, that's when you really see how the law of attraction works, and that's kind of when you get hooked on it and excited that visualization is like all it really takes. The action follows the visualization, and the snowball effect starts happening. And I also wanted to give you an example of how visualization can work even in the long term. So my mother and twin brother hold very dear to my heart, and they were struggling for a while. My brother was going from circumstance to circumstance of bad situations, and he wasn't doing well emotionally. He would admit that to us, and that was really heart-wrenching for me because he's my twin, and twins are really close. Everyone around me would be very despairful about it and say, oh, things aren't gonna get better. And the same thing with my mother. With my mother's situation, she was on medications that were physically and emotionally harming her, and she wasn't emotionally well either, and everyone around would give despairful kind of comments. And once I discovered the law of attraction, I just really visualized and earnestly prayed that they would get better, and I visualized that happening. And as heart-wrenching as it was when I'd hear them complain about their situations, or when I'd hear from others that they're not doing well, I would ignore that and hold the thoughts of their well-being in my mind. And they were struggling for a couple years, but just as maybe a couple months ago, I've realized that they're both doing well. They've been telling me that my brother's doing really well. He's got a great job and he's taking care of his body. My mom's off her medication. And when my mom told me this, I couldn't help tearing up a bit, because I'd been visualizing this for years, and it finally came to be. And I realized that it's not all my visualization that caused it. The universe supports them too. But I know it had an effect, and me having that attitude and faith in them definitely had a huge effect, a huge effect. So things do happen even years later, and you got to keep the faith and the trust. And that's just an example of, like, since I've practiced this law of attraction, every area of my life has improved tenfold. And I've very rarely stay in despair. I'm a very happy person since then, and it just seems like circumstance after circumstance of good things coming into my life, but also things improving. My mother and brother getting well, and it took a while, but that's just another thing on the list of the universe takes care of all of us, and everything's gonna be okay, and like everything's gonna be more than okay. It's gonna be amazing, and your dreams can come true. And you just have to change your mindset and hold to that mindset. And in our culture, it's kind of accepted to really be somber when so-called bad things happen, and extend our sympathy and, oh, this poor person, like, they're struggling. And there's a place for that. That's all well and good, but we need to hold the faith too that things are going to be okay, because they really are. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you got something out of this.